Welcome back to Dicey World. I'll be real quick because my uncle got on my ass last time. He watched the show. Shout out to my uncle Jerry. Gave me some great feedback. Always transparent, positive feedback. Uncle's like, I like your analysis. Your analysis was great. But damn, you're so wordy. Just shut the hell up. You're just talking so wordy. So I said, you know what? Let me just go ahead and just trim some of that intro and just get right into it, man. Now, just to recap, last week, yours truly, probably one of the only people in all America, not the only, but one of the few media figures, sports personalities who jumped on that ledge, on that limb, and picked the Indiana Pacers. I picked them Indy and 6. And I'm looking good so far. After last night, Indiana took control of the series, winning at home to take a 2-1 lead. And part of the reason, or most of the reason, because on paper, OKC has a deeper team, a better team, more decorated team, and the MVP, SGA, Jalen Williams, crazy first team defender. So on paper, they're better. And I like Mark Daigneault, the OKC Thunder coach. He was last year's coach of the year. But in the coaching matchup, I just favored Rick Carlisle. And for me, you have the obvious things on his resume, a championship, led 3 franchises to like conference finals, blah, 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 blah. Great winning percentage, won a lot of games. But for me, it's the nuances of Rick Carlisle. You know what? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, so right here, and I remember this game too. This is last season, the 2023-24 season, when the Pacers were on the road to face the Lakers, and they gave Nembhard a game-winning 3. We're not going to focus on that play and analyzing or diagramming that play or deconstructing and breaking down that play. We're just going to focus on what Rick Carlisle said about his star point guard, Tyrese Haliburton. I think that's a great point in which he says, and I'm highlighting this point to give more insight into Rick Carlisle, his perception. It's one thing to have a great player or great system, but there's another thing to diagnose that great player, great system, and know how to use them and use the system and be aware. You know what I mean? So I think this is a great example of that. Listen to what Carlisle has to say about Haliburton.
In an NBA basketball game, someone once said there's probably 6,000 or 7,000 events that happen in a game. You look at a play like this, there are a lot of different things going on. And this is just an example of when you have a guy like Tyrese Haliburton that can use his eyes and his hands to influence a play like this. It's amazing some of the things you can pull off late in the game. So there's a shot. Tyrese looks like he's not involved. Now he's got the ball. Now he's turning, looking. His eyes are up at the clock. He's looking at Buddy. And then, boom, there it is to Nembhard. And that's a game winner.
So, Coach.
Wow, and that's a great point. How many times, throughout these playoffs, have you seen Tyrese Haliburton manipulate the defense and get teammates wide open for threes? In this playoffs, I can think of Nembhard, Nesmith. Ask the Knicks about Nesmith, Evan Turner. A lot of those threes are catch and shoot threes, based off the creativity and the driving kick for Tyrese Haliburton. And when you're not that athletically gifted, you can just blow past people in your first step, you know what I mean? Or you're that explosive. You have to use all the intangibles and the small details of your game, to your advantage. So I feel like what Carlisle just said, just manipulating the defense with just subtle eye movement, looking one way, dribbling another way, then throwing the ball somewhere else, totally, opposite direction of the court. That can throw a defense off. And all you need is 0.02 seconds or like half an inch or a half a foot to be open in the NBA. So I think that's very crucial on Haliburton's part, and I think that was very exceptional, and Coach Carlisle recognizing that. Okay, this next play we're going to focus on to highlight the genius and creativity of the mind of the beautiful basketball mind of Rick Carlisle. Sometimes, in the NBA, you have to be a little different. Everybody knows each other's plays. It's not too much creativity. In NBA nowadays, it's basically pick and roll, drive and kick. Everything is all three. It's three and dunk. So I love the fact how in the game's waning moments, Pacers versus the Bucks earlier this year, how Rick Carlisle actually used an NFL play. He designed an NFL play for a game winner. Actually a game tying three, and then Haliburton got fouled and shot the game winning free throw. But just check out this diagram of a play. Like, notice how Rick Carlisle uses a play from a different sport. And this one, it's going to look like a bubble screen, like a wide receiver bubble screen. So check this out, guys.
The Indiana Pacers just ran an NFL play in basketball, and it worked. In this, we're going to break down exactly what they did to get this open shot to essentially tie up the game and hit a 4-point play with Tyrese Haliburton. All right, so here we go. First thing we're going to notice is Miles Turner is going to be the first one to release. His job is to get in front of Giannis. From there, Aaron Nesmith, very important, going to cross this formation and get to the other side of the floor. Now, Pascal Siakam and obviously Tyrese Haliburton have very important jobs. Look at all these guys crisscrossing. We're going to allow the release of Aaron Nesmith to work, and then we're going to go around him and kind of, again, get in the way. Miles Turner, go step in front of Giannis, and now we're going to get a little bit of like a bubble screen here to Tyrese Haliburton to get to that left corner. Now, as this play starts to break down, we already see this defense really suffocating, bad rotation everywhere, and now we get a 3-on-2 on the right side and a 1-on-2 on the left side. Miles Turner slightly gets in the way of Giannis. We get the ball successfully to Tyrese Haliburton, who then stops, pops, puts up a 3, draws body contact, and one. This was incredible. Now, guys, let me give you a little bit of context here. While this play was happening, they were down by 3 with 3.9 seconds left to go in the ball game. And they just ran an NFL play in. Yeah, this was a perfect play call by the head coach. And quite frankly, I don't think I've ever seen anything work so successfully than this right here. This was beautiful. And then the execution to hit this shot, unreal. Guys, real quickly, do me.
Wow. So that was just another exceptional example of Rick Carlisle. Like the narrator said in the video, he's never seen a play like that, like an NFL play diagram for an NBA game, a game-winning shot, let alone. So I just got to give a shout out and some insight to Carlisle. That was a great bubble screen. You seen the players, the front court players going down, setting picks like a bubble screen. Nothing illegal, no moving screens and nothing like that. Everybody got in position and freed up Haliburton. So that was an amazing job on Carlisle. And really, Carlisle's going to have to use some more of those antics for this series, because for the most part, even though Indiana is up 2-1, Haliburton has been struggling to get the ball and move in space. You've seen him get the ball damn near about half court, getting half court violations because he can't move. It's a lot of possessions. He doesn't even touch the rock. He's just on the side, like pointing at people, coaching everything. So they got to do a better job of freeing them up. But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And lastly, okay, this is like something very subtle, a little nuanced, but it's all about the details and semantics and syntax. Syntax is word order. Semantics is actually what you're saying, the content of what you're saying. So And, you know, it could be really just, you know, really subtle. You got to just keep your eyes open. It might go over your head, but to me, this speaks to the confidence, though. The inner confidence is just so confident. It just blew right past you. This is Rick Carlisle addressing the media following a game. I think a road win against the Bucks. Check this out.
We're a pretty significant underdog in every game we've played in this series, and that will continue till the end. And
did y'all hear that? We're going to be a significant underdog until it's over. Until it's over. Not until we lose, not until we get swept, until it's over. Meaning until we're done playing. You know what I mean? He's not telling his team like, yeah, we're underdogs in every round. We'll just keep fighting until we lose. No, until it's over. Guess what? If you win a championship, then it's over. So little small things like that, you know, is why I picked Rick Carlisle, and it was why I think he's such a phenomenal coach. All right. So next, I want to talk about Jalen Williams real quick. I love Jalen Williams. He's a good complimentary player. He made the All-Star team this year. He answered a lot of questions, you know, following OKC's playoff exit last year. A lot of people question, you know, is he the real deal? Can he help out SGA? Is he a legitimate, you know, threat out there? And I had a friend of mine. He's a friend of the show. You guys know him, D-Tate. He said, yo, Dice, do you think that Jalen Williams, you know, can go somewhere else and be his own man, be his own star, a la like James Harden? And I said, you know, I like Jalen Williams. He's very good. He's a great complimentary player. As a matter of fact, that whole OKC has great synergy and chemistry and great ego as of right now because they're all young, but they seem to all agree that SGA is their man. There's no ego there. They're cool with it. They're pretty much subservient on the court. They know the pecking order. And I think Jalen Williams does a great job of that. But I really think he's just a great complimentary player. I told D-Tate, I said, bro, I've never really seen him dance on the court. When he gets the ball, which is good, he's making quick, decisive actions, quick, decisive moves. He get the rock on the wing, pump fake, slash into the wing, finish. Or he's going up with it. He's just shooting it. You know, he's not going to James Harden you, you know, or SGA you, or Jalen Brunson you, just dribble the ball and dance and everything. You know, he's just going to just do his thing, which is great as a great complimentary player. But as a lead dog, sometimes you got to dance with it. Sometimes you got to break that double team. You got to split. So I haven't seen too much of that from Jalen Williams. I will say, though, last night he had a clutch 3 prior to the fourth quarter, you know, which was a great shot. He kind of put the ball, you know, on the ground for more than 2 or 3 dribbles. So I was kind of impressed. But yeah, so the jury's out. He's still young. I just don't think that Jalen Williams is a lead dog right now. I think he's a complimentary player. I've never seen him dance or dribble the rock. So until he shows and proves something to me, he's just going to be a secondary player, which is not that bad. All right. Crazy switch off transition. We're going to talk about the news, which is going on, you know, all across the nation. And I'll be really quick. But, you know, here in New York, not to the degree of LA, but there's been riots, there's been protests about, you know, ICE coming in and cleaning up the streets of illegal aliens, illegal immigrants. You know, theoretically, if you rock with that, you know, that sounds good. But to see the optics, to see the footage, to see people, you know, get beat up and harassed and separated, it looks really bad. You know, it's not a good optic. So, and it's so funny because a lot of the Latinos that's protesting and so forth, I wonder how many of them voted for the very same person that's imposing this rule against you to get you up out of here. like how do you feel now? Like, this is crazy to me. The main dude, Donald Trump, you voted for, he getting your ass up out of here. He getting your abuelo, or your grandma, your granddad, your primo, your cousin, your hermano, your brother, your sister. They up out of here because of him. Do you really think like this would be going on if Kamala Harris was in office? It just makes you think. It makes you think. And a quick point, because I text somebody about this, a homegirl, about the situation, and she said this. She said, glad the Latinos in LA are resisting, but when is the last time you saw any of them aligning themselves with black people? That's crazy. Now, I don't live in LA. I'm not privy to the conditions, but I am aware that there's a disconnect between, black and brown people, unfortunately. I'm not sure, during Black Lives Matters, if the Latinos was, protesting and walking, for George Floyd or any other victims. But I know in the East Coast, a lot of my Latino brothers and sisters, they were out here protesting, man. Like I said, I can't speak for LA, but I don't know, just a little something to ponder and think about. But regardless, whether they walked with us or not in LA, two wrongs don't make it right. And the thing that we're seeing right now is an abomination. It looks like a scene from a movie. So I hope a lot of these Trump voters have voters' remorse. And speaking of Donald Trump, I was really ready to just sit back and enjoy this little war between his ace boon coon, his man. Well, they've been kind of like beefing for a couple of weeks, couple months now. But the Game of Thrones, the White Walkers between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Now I'm paraphrasing right now, but stuff hit the fan. What's the word I'm trying to say? Things hit the climax when Elon Musk took to his platform, Twitter or X, and outed Donald Trump. He said, one of the reasons the Epstein files have not been disclosed because your man Donald Trump was all over those files. He was at the parties. He was there. So, to say that, officially, publicly was a bombshell, man. But if you're a realist like me, you know who was all in there, man. Trump was in there. Some more obvious people were in there. Like I said, I'm not trying to be a gossip shop, a gossip blog. I'm not trying to tear anybody down or anything like that. Well, that doesn't deserve it. But you can guess, a lot of politicians, a lot of entertainers were at those Epstein parties and on those Epstein files. So, but, as quickly as I was getting my popcorn to pop in the microwave, here come Elon Musk backpedaling. And again, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically apologized, which on the outside, I was kind of, I was upset. I was looking forward to see some white on white crime or any other crime that doesn't concern black on black crime. You know what I mean? I'm petty like that, but that should be a lesson to us black people. You see how quickly, they dissolve their issues. Elon Musk set aside his pride. Now, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You don't know if Trump was sending those ICE people for Elon Musk with his South African self, his South African tail self. And it's so funny, speaking about South African, I remember seeing Musk saying one time, oh, yeah, I live in America and I'm from Africa, but I don't consider myself African American. Like any African American, anytime white people have to wear a jacket that's not cool or like sports or entertainment, they do not want that. Do not compare them or align them to anything black. Well, I just thought that was funny. Yeah, I'm from Africa. I live in America, but I'm not African American. But let that be a lesson, though, y'all. Like, Musk set aside his pride, or he listened to the people behind closed doors. He had a meeting with himself or his close people, his cabinet, and he decided this is not a good business decision. This is not a good business move. So let me go ahead, count my losses now and just stop right now while I'm ahead and just apologize. So I'm not sure if Trump received it or he accepted it, but that's a good lesson for us black people in the black community. You know, it's never too late to do the right thing. And, you know, pride kills a lot of people, man. Set that shit to the side. You know, if you're in the wrong, if you feel like you did something wrong, make it right, and that's it. Did he do it? So I didn't talk about this before, and it's like the elephant in the room. This news story. But you know, after all the facts are coming out, it just seems like to me, guys, just to me, I really don't think Puff did anything too illegal. Like, what's his charges? Illegal trafficking or sex trafficking and stuff like that. Like, bruh, so what? If you got money and you DM an Instagram babe and you flew her out or you fly her out or she get flued out for sex and y'all sleep with each other, is that sex trafficking? Like, what constitutes as sex trafficking? You gotta have like more than 10, 15 people in the ring. They all hang together. Like, what's the definition of sex trafficking? I probably should have just researched that before I got on here, but I'm freestyling this show, y'all. Like, I know what, you know, subjects and topics I wanted to talk about, but I'm just going to freestyle my answer. So, chat, let me know what constitutes or what's the actual definition of sex trafficking. But it just seems like to me, Puffy's a big old freak, a big old gay freak. Well, I'm saying gay because if you buy sex, if you're doing anything, if you're a man and you got anything to do with a man's privates, his genitalia, or anything that comes from the genitalia, that's gay to me. I'm not judging nobody. I'm sorry, but that's just gay to me. So it just seemed like Puffy's a gay freak. Yeah, he did. I'm not trying to brush underneath the rug, you know, domestic violence. That's not cool as hell. That's not cool at all. But if I'm a lawyer, you know, on Puffy's team, I'm like, bruh, there's domestic violence. And I'm speaking about the hotel video. I'm like, this happened years ago. She stayed with Diddy years afterwards, subsequently. You know, you hear some of the testimony in trial, allegedly, and I'm paraphrasing again, that Cassie was saying stuff like, even though after they broke up, she was still having sex with Diddy. She got with her new husband. She was FaceTiming old boy and was just having sex with him. Like, what the heezy? Like, come on, man. But I'm not mad at her. She finessed $30 million. So that's cool. But come on, man. Does Puffy deserve to be in jail for those situations? I'm not sure. Now, if they're trying to like Al Capone this, you know, because Al Capone went to jail for tax evasion, not murder. If you know, the police or people trying to like knock him for possible connections to the murders of Biggie and Tupac, I mean, that might sound a little bit more plausible, but just to single-handedly imprison this guy, you know, incarcerate this guy for being a bisexual gay freak off expert, I don't know. That seems a little fishy. And of course, you know, all of this happened when I forget the name of like the liquor company, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Maybe it starts with a D. Whenever he sued the liquor company, that's when everything came about. So I don't know if the liquor company hollered at, you know, Cassie and try to push that or whatever, but I don't find these two transgressions coincidental. But what do I know? I hope I'm, you know, sparking some conversation, some opinion. If you don't agree, let me know, comment, DM me, whatever. And lastly, speaking about entertainers, you know, in legal trouble, I don't think I ever spoke about the whole Tory and Meg situation, but basically, you know, I feel like black women as a whole get a bad rap in the media. Nobody has their back. Nobody wants to protect them. They're always guilty before innocent. And just, you know, looking at things, you know, objectively, if I wasn't a hip hop fan, if I didn't know who these two people were, Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion, like, how does that even make sense? Like, people saying she lied and like, bro, doesn't like Megan Thee Stallion have like way more money than Tory? So it couldn't be a money grab. I just think realistically what happened, I don't have all the facts because I'm not really a Meg fan or Tory fan. Like, I'm hip to them. I know they're musicians and entertainers, but I'm not, you know, following too close to their story. But from what I heard, you know, I'm paraphrasing. That's the word of the day, paraphrase on the Dicey World show. From what I hear, Megan Thee Stallion and Tory was rocking around like on the low. They was like smashing, having relations. I guess the girl Kelsey is Megan Thee Stallion's best friend. Those three were in Hollywood in California. Went to a party, Kylie Jenner's party, and on the low, I guess Kelsey had a crush on Tory Lanez. All right, and then all those three people they head over to Kylie's party, her little pool party. People get inebriated and drunk. I guess the situation gets a little fuzzy and hazy when I guess Tory Lanez tried to flirt with Kylie, and I guess a little altercation popped off. I guess Meg got her feelings, because let's be real, when you have sexual relations, feelings come into play. People get jealous, people get envious, people feel a certain way, they get attached, they get connected, men and women, all right, and especially when alcohol is included. So I guess people were having their way or saying their little two-piece. I guess Kylie Jenner dipped off, and this is what I think what happened. I just think Meg got a real spicy mouth. She big as hell. She damn near 6 feet tall with heels. She got money. She swagged out. She talked like a nigga. Sometimes think like a nigga. I'm sorry, like a guy or a dude. She probably busting Tory Lanez, busting the spot. He probably feeling a certain way. He probably getting emasculated and embarrassed in front of all these women, all these girls and everything like that. And I can see it, Meg just talking shit, you know what I'm saying? So, and she was probably saying shit like, what, nigga, what? I'll beat your motherfucking ass. Now what? Because she probably could, you know what I'm saying? So she probably embarrassed him verbally, threatened him like, you ain't gonna do nothing. Like I said, I don't know this, but I'm trying to figure out what's going to just push it to a point where gunplay is involved and women's toes are getting shot. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I do think in the drunken stupor, feeling emasculated and embarrassed and having no other recourse in his mind, I think Tory got the strap and blapped her in the toe. And what's the infamous line? Dance, bitch. Like, that's too much of a random, that's a specific line to be just pulling out the middle of the air. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds very plausible. But what I'm just trying to say is, I don't think I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this probably, but I don't think Meg is lying about somebody shooting her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she got money. And how do you lie about somebody like shooting her? She didn't say nobody else did. And then you heard like rumors coming out, months later or recently that Kelsey's bodyguard came out and admitted to shooting her. And I'm like, where was he at months ago? Why didn't he admit this? People try to have this conspiracy theory like it's a cover up and Tory Lanez trying to protect somebody. Hey, I ain't trying to protect nobody when it's coming to like, you know what I'm saying? 10 years of my life. And especially you a female too, this your first offense. Yeah, you'll get probation. So I feel like if Kelsey shot her or somebody else shot her, he would have said it or he would have made that known or leaked that information. So I'm gonna probably get, aspersions thrown on me, man. But hey, I love black women. I want to be a champion, protector of black women. I ain't trying to be a savior because you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying black women are at fault, man, but or immune to fault, or they're just so perfect and so forth, man. But they catching a bad rap, too much media wise, public wise, and even behind closed doors. It's just too cool to like diss black women, dark skin tone, hair, attitude, the way they act. And please believe they just didn't come out the womb acting this way. You know what I'm saying? They're products of their environment. I believe it's action reaction, but those are just bigger, bigger topics for another day to deconstruct and talk about, man. But that's just my 2 cents. I don't think that Meg is lying. I do think that Tory shot her in the toe. Should he get 10 years? I mean, he shot a toe, and people saying she twerking the next day and performing and everything like that, man. So if she good, then why not give him 10 years of probation? If he does anything else, then what the hell, man? Send his ass to jail, to prison, and maybe even like 2 or 3 years, but 10 years, like, I don't know, man. Like, because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to knock anybody down. I believe that Tory was 100% wrong if he indeed shot Meg. But I do believe in redemption. Look at Michael Vick. When he came out from the whole dogfighting scandal, he looked like he had true contrition. It looked like it was authentic and sincere contrition. So I do believe everybody has a chance to be a better person. But speaking about better, that's my time right now. Hopefully, I'll be a better host, a better man next time we speak. You know what I mean? Oh, last shout out. I'm not sure if I said earlier in the show, probably not because my uncle was just rushing me. But I would be remiss if I didn't shout out my niece, Maya. She graduated from high school in Royal Oak, Michigan. And shout out to my nephew, Ashton. He just graduated 8th grade. He'll be a freshman next year. But anyway, that's my time. My disciples, thanks for checking me out. Here's my information again. Remember, boys and girls, anything can happen in Dicey World. Until next time, I holla. Peace.